So we're going to start with a conversation about plans. So as we went over in the overview, plans are a cut. So if you were to use a clipping plane and you were to move that clipping plane up 3 feet, that would be what you're showing. So what I've done just to illustrate that is taken my model, duplicated it, and then did a cut through 3 feet, above 3 feet on the upper level for this design, which is 12 feet, so that's 15 feet, and then on the third level as well. So just to visually understand what we're looking at when we're doing a plan. So the big thing around making plans is that a Make 2D of a model, although that's part of the process, is not a plan. So if you walk around the building, you'll hear this over and over again from instructors to their students that cutting a model in Rhino is not a plan. And the reason is because a plan includes lots more information about how a building, what's in a building and how it works, rather than a simple outline of a building mass. So what I like to do, some of these are just tips that I might offer in terms of how I work, but also you're welcome to adjust these as necessary. But after I make 2D, I like to just create layers, which are the layers that I'm going to eventually print. So they're more or less different thicknesses. So I'll have a hatch layer, extra light, light, medium, heavy, cut, and maybe a ground layer. And then the first thing I'll do is start to add these to the appropriate layers. So I know that I'm going to have a cut layer for this. This is going to be what I use, and actually, because I know that I'm only going to develop this portion here, I can go ahead and delete the rest of it. So this is what you'll start with, and again, this is just the beginning. So you can start to offset your lines. I'm just going to use a foot, keep it simple. And then it's just a slow process of working out the details. So for mine, I had, so this is co-living for single parents. So I'm thinking the first floor is predominantly a series of large bedrooms and then shared living and eating spaces. And so you could just start by blocking out rooms. So that's what I did here, taking 15 feet maybe as a starting depth. For interior walls, I was using just 8 inches. Those are a little bit thicker than you would typically do, but if you're at this scale, it probably works good. And then just kind of like starting to block it out. Eventually, you'll start adding doors. So this is a good setup for doors. So this is a 3-foot door opening, 2-inch door thickness, and then the swing itself. And you can copy and paste that. I was just doing a simple double line for a window. And then eventually you can start to add in a lot more detail. So I started to work it out and put in simple furniture into the plan, and a large communal kitchen, maybe 2 sinks, large stove, kitchen island with some tables, maybe a play area. If I had more time, I would add some play units here, a main entry, stair. Looks like it's going all the way up. This is actually dashed according to that line here. I'm putting all of my furniture onto the extra light layer. Closets, think about what you need for a comfortable living space or what you would need for whatever building you're designing. And then after you add all of that detail, so I do the hatching in Rhino, and in order to get that into Illustrator, you actually need to explode it. So then you have a bunch of tiny lines. It's a bit heavy computationally. There's many ways to do the hatching in Illustrator, which I think you all have had some experience with probably already, but I like to do it in Rhino. All of this is at the scale that we're going to, at 1:1, so this is full scale. And then when you export, you can export as an AI. Bring that into Illustrator. And then I had started a new file, 18 by 24, just typed it in so I know I'm working with the right size. And then I just copy this over. And then what I do is you can take all of these make them the appropriate color, and then you can just change per layer. So I've already done this. And then on this layer, I'll give you access to this as well. I just tested out some of these thicknesses. So I have a cut line, which is 1.5. So I'll just select everything on that line, everything on that layer, do 1.5, 0.75 for medium, all the way down. And so you're going to want a lot of hierarchy. And this is, an adequate design plan. This shows the building, it shows furniture, it shows where people move, why you enter, and the strong hierarchy between the cut lines and the detail lines. So cut lines being 1.5 all the way down to 0.15 is going to give you a lot of visual hierarchy so that you can read the drawings and understand what's being cut, where the walls are, etc. So you'll have access to this. I think it's good to just use this as a reference. These will be good guidelines. Kind of walking through the second floor here. Here's the stair that goes down to the first and up to the third floor, 3 bedrooms and a bathroom, and then it's open to below. That's how you understand this. And there's like a co-working space over here. We're seeing the house down below. This is a big patio, which again, if I had more time, I would add some playground equipment, maybe some tables. Thinking about this as a shared space for the parents and kids. All of this detail is simply added in drawing format. So So this is more like a drafted plan as opposed to adding it all in detail. The model itself stayed very low detail. I did work out just the number of stairs, so using a 1 foot tread and 8 inches in between, how many stairs it would take to get from one level to the next, and then I just use that to draw out into the plan here. So use this as a reference, add the appropriate detail, and you're going to do it for a portion, and you're going to do it for multiple levels. So I just did first 2 plans, but if I were to be developed this in full, I would actually have another 2 plans that go up in the building. And again, working it through an elevation and section and plan is what we're looking for. So reference this and then follow these guidelines, follow this level of detail for your own.